Oh, that's much better. Good evening, Agenda Rights. It's Tuesday, the 19th of November, and we've got very little to talk about. No, not really. Bath time. How we doing, big man?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's cold up here. Like how are you getting on? My people are in London today. It's been a farmer invasion.
Is this a protest?
Yeah, I think Jeremy Clarkson, of all people, is like leading farmers like the Pied Piper about in London.
And Andrew Lloyd Webber as well, I think, has flown over first class from the US to participate as well.
Big up the farmers.
Okay. Can I? I'm a bit ignorant as to what they've actually wasted all of their diesel driving from Wales for, but go on.
I've
no idea. Like it's just a day out or something. They're blocking roads or for something or other. I think
things to protest about some kind of tax to stop them getting taxed for something. I did read about it. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah.
It's normally fuel tax with farmers.
Okay.
All right. Look. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will tell us. The fact that it's not football related is probably the reason why we really don't give a shit. To be fair.
Oh, don't worry, we're playing them on Sunday.
You play them every week.
Yeah.
Not going to be an issue. Not going to be an issue. It's not going to be an issue. Anyway, look, Bart, how you doing, man? I see ya. Simon, we see you very well. Has the snow gone from anywhere? I didn't get snow. It's just bloody cold.
It was snowing this morning, Mr. B.
What, that little touch that touched the windscreen on the way down the M4? That's not snow, man. That don't count. If it don't settle, that doesn't count. Medi Mel, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Matty, I hope you're doing well. Simon is saying it's brass monkeys in Lincolnshire.
Yeah.
Simon Warner. It's probably the same as it was yesterday, to be fair. It's only been 48 hours, but yeah.
It's been 24.
Stephanie, I hope you're doing well, my dear. Andrew, yeah, typical. Guys, let's try and keep these these F-bombs down to a minimum. Yeah, we're trying to sort our shit out here, and it's not helping when we've got people arguing and cussing people and talking about teabagging in the chat. It doesn't help what we're trying to do here, to be fair. If you want to set up a WhatsApp group for that, then you're more than welcome, but it really does make our job really, really difficult. We can't watch all of it, so we're going to try and get you guys just to self-monitor yourself. We understand that every now and then, you know, you do want to make a point, but make a point without making it be so personal, guys. Yeah. Right. With that, Subvids, we didn't say hello to you. How you doing, mate? And no, you don't eat yellow snow. You drink it, my dear. Right. Let's rock and roll. Training. Obviously, it's been all smiles. Rashford's had a tweet. I have no idea if they tweeted when Ten Hag came in. Casemiro, they did. Okay.
Rashford has tweeted, "It's brilliant." Essentially, every time a new manager has come in. Do you not remember that picture of him sitting down with Ollie, and it was captioned like, "And Teddy flicked it on, and then I scored." And then when Ten Hag came in, he said, "The intensity is brilliant. Everything's great." They always do this. Like, they're not going to sit there and say, "Do you know what? He came in, he crashed the car, he smelt bad, and training was terrible."
And also, yeah, I mean, hearing all these great tweets and things from players. Casemiro had a tweet saying training, just said training. And someone went and researched. She'd done the same tweet under Ten Hag as well. So who knows?
I mean, I'm going to assume it's not them. I'm going to assume they don't run their own accounts, which I think doesn't make any sense to me. But look, it is what it is. So we saying that it's all bullshit then, and they're not happy, and the smiles are all false.
No, I believe it. I believe it. You know what? From the footage I've seen, I've been watching a bit of footage of the training, and everyone's skinning, looks organised. We're really impressed with what the manager's doing. You know, he's barking out clear instructions. He can actually. I had some footage where you can actually hear he was talking to Mania and Mount and positioning them and telling them what to do, and we can see. I mean, usually when we get in such great footage of the training, you actually see how they're setting up, and you can actually predict the team based on what we did. We talked about this yesterday, but it's really good to have that sort of like inside camera and it's been released to the public, and there's not trying to hide anything. He's just been doing his session, putting it on, and trying to get the guys on board. You know, and I think there's a happy bunch right now.
Bath time.
Well, first of all, I'd like to wish someone a happy birthday, which is Super Nick.
Oh,
it's great.
Happy 21st.
Again, she said. You know what? I just want to big up Super Nick as well. She spent the afternoon with me on a live.
Listen, I tell you, if you know that 2-second pause had me thinking, Ross, is advertising? Okay, so
I want to wish her a happy birthday. She's one of the most respected people in the community, and she's so knowledgeable when it comes to sports and music, especially as well. She knows her stuff. I mean, she's playing some tunes earlier, and she's top girl. So everyone in the chat, can we all wish a happy birthday to Super Nick?
What were you doing this afternoon?
I was playing music. I was playing some records. You know, that's what I do sometimes in my spare time. Play music, and she jumped on board, and she was skanking and drinking brandy and celebrating her birthday. So yeah, it was we had a really good time. It was a top draw.
Oh, good time to have your finger mash up then.
Exactly. Can't scratch but yeah.
Just use your feet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Clever dick.
Oh dear. Well, happy birthday to Super Nick. What we talk about the training?
Yeah, training. Yeah.
Well, I remember a long time ago, Yabba, was it Marcos we had on, the Cambridge United coach?
Yeah.
And afterwards, I can't remember if this was part of the show or not, but I remember afterwards I had a little bicker with him, like not an argument, but it was about how much I hated in training when the manager blows up and stops the training to explain a point to you. It drives me mental because it ruins the flow and the concentration and all these things. And what I really liked from the footage that I've seen is that he had a stopwatch and a whistle, which he's Portuguese, tactical periodization. It's going to be all measured and numbered, but he wasn't blowing up very often. Like I saw it go back to Johnny Evans a few times. He appeared to be getting pretty handsy with Johnny Evans. He was touching him up quite a lot. But I thought that it flowed well. The thing that I liked the most was that, well, there are two things I really like. One is that from what I could see is that, Yabba, you probably have had this a lot, is that in training, if you complete your objective, which is like, let's say, score a goal, you jog back to your starting position and you go again. If you lose the ball, you have to sprint back. And it's to try and kind of get a respect for the ball in, and also to sort of develop this kind of muscle memory about how you've all got to go. You've all got to start running when you lose the ball. So I really like that. And I also really like the fact that I saw something that I think was a drop, was basically trying to, it was basically a second ball. It was thrown up in the air and they had to compete for it. So and that I've always found is a much better way of kind of doing a game state, rather than like your centre back comes out with no pressure on the ball and the other team, they all know what to do. So I thought that was all really good. But it's day one. There's very little you can take from it. But everyone looked like they were having fun, and I'd have preferred to have seen some of them really struggling, to be honest. I'd like to see them like hurting a little bit.
Maybe they were. Maybe they were half an hour into the session. You know what I mean? Do you think that it's weird that obviously Luke Shaw was training,
Centre back.
full training. I didn't even know he was fit to. I said we heard about Malacia, but I was really surprised to see Luke Shaw involved in the training.
I couldn't believe it when he popped up. He just came into shot first time. It was like, who's that? It's Luke Shaw.
They kept it quiet. They've kept it quiet. I mean, I'm not saying kept it quiet. If they wanted to really keep it quiet, they probably wouldn't have shown his bits of the video. But it's just the fact that everybody seems to be. I understand everybody wants to impress the new manager, but these were players who we had no idea when they were coming back.
They were all said to be back in November. Like Yoro has always been November.
Okay.
And Shaw's always been like November. And Malacia, I think they said they wanted him back before December, but they weren't too sure. They weren't too sure about it. But for me, it's Mason Mount was the really weird one. He got a cut on the head, and we never saw him again.
Do you think these players were what's the word? Tactically injured,
like biding their time.
Well, not necessarily biding their own time, but maybe not saying club decisions, but Mainu, as I personally think they rested Mainu. I actually think he wasn't injured. I think that he needed the rest and they've given him the rest. But Mason Mount, he could have maybe come back. I don't know. Maybe I'm going a bit too deep into what I'm thinking, but a lot of them just seem to have pulled back, like they didn't want to play. Maybe they didn't want to train and they didn't want to get injured again. Or maybe it was him. I don't know. There's so much things going on.
I get it. I think it's like the end of the season last year. We had some players that played when they were injured. McTominay, Maguire, people like that, and Shaw kind of didn't because he wanted to go to the Euros. But we were in a cup final. We were fighting for our worst ever position in the league and stuff. I think that now, I think the players they're not willing to put their body on the line at this point in the season.
I don't know. I think it's a good point you make there, Mr. B. But it's a positive thing for the club to have everyone back to show their face. And even if, you say, Malacia is not scheduled to come back till December, he was actually involved himself in the drills today just to get an understanding. I think it's important that maybe Amorim did request to everyone, even if you're 50% back, still come along, turn up at training so you can involve yourself into day one training so you can establish what's going on here and how we're going to set up going forward, So it's great. It's like the first day at school, isn't it, for everybody? Everyone turns up in a new uniform, which is extra big so they can grow into it. And it's a bit like the roles. You turn up and you want to grow into the roles, these new positions and the new shape that we're seeing now under Amorim. It's a really positive time in the club. Even we're getting excited talking about the training videos, and I'm sure the players are enjoying it as well. I saw footage of the players coming out. Casemiro's, he seems like a cheeky chappy, doesn't he? He came out and said, good morning. He's a bit of personality. I think you need that in the team as well. The Portuguese speaking players, as mentioned in one of the comments earlier, they're going to have, a good rapport with the manager, I imagine, communication wise as well, and a bit of a better understanding. It's about who picks things up early, who shows willing, who's got that desire. And it seems like they're enjoying the training sessions as well. It's really important, isn't it? We drag ourselves off to work every morning with a miserable face. But if you're going as your professional footballer and you're earning that kind of dough, and then you're going into work to do a training session, which usually could be tough under certain managers, but you're enjoying it and you're looking forward to it, that's all the difference. And I think that kind of thing, even what do we say, marginal gains or marginal, what's the wording? These marginal kind of things. Marginal gains, these kind of things keep players happy and on their toes and enjoying it, and you can imagine going into work, having fun, smiling, coming off and saying, wow, that was impressive, that was fun. And the manager, just once again, just want to give him kudos to him because he seems super confident And the confidence I always think comes from achievement. And when you can talk confidently, a bit like bath time when he talks on tactics and that, he talks confidently on it. And if you ask him a question, he can bang it out because he's achieved in it. And the same with the manager. When you see the manager talking so confidently about what he wants from the guys, and he's smiling, he's happy, and you can't challenge him. A lot of players at this level, they want to challenge. Oh, what's your CV? What have you done? What do we know? You don't know more than me, or you want to challenge them or test them. I don't think he can do that with this guy. He's sure of himself. He's got a glow about him, and he knows what he's doing, and that will get him instant respect. Yeah,
just one thing, Yabba, on marginal gains. If you're talking about the Beresford stuff with marginal gains, I think it's less sort of like to do with things that go on in training, and it's more like they do lots of crazy attention to detail, like they paint a room a certain colour so that dust is easier to see and they can clean it and things. Like I don't think that Beresford will have too much of an input into the training, as it were. Like he'll have some, but they've got sports scientists and people with doctorates and things coming. But I just want to make that clear so that
I wasn't relating that. I wasn't relating that to what the previous thing had about marginal gains. Just saying about the training that will have an impact. I think if you in a happy training room, changing room, happy training sessions, as I mentioned there, going into training, enjoying it, happy, eager to play, eager to perform, and eager to sort of get results. And I think that's the difference. That's the marginal change that we see with the players.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it, when new people come in?
Do you think they're going to be showing as much? Obviously, towards the end of the week, when all the players are coming back from international duty, do you think they're going to be showing as much footage come Friday?
Yeah.
Maybe just rondos, like the warm-ups and things like that. Like when Ten Hag came, we went to Australia, didn't it? And they showed a fair bit in that of some fairly standard sort of pass and move routines, if I recall correctly.
Half space crosses.
Yeah, but but that was basically the same thing, wasn't it? It was day one. We got a decent look in, and then we very rarely saw anything else for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I would expect that to follow.
See, so we're all getting excited for nothing here. Stephanie's got a question. Will Leach and Mainu be match ready or bench options? Predicting the starting 11 is going to be difficult for Sunday.
I've no idea.
I think Mainu will be in. I'm not sure about Leach. I think Mainu will be in. Whether or not he starts, I think Mainu will be in.
Because he's featured in training.
Well, yeah, I mean, he must be up to some sort of pace if he's been involved in the training today. I've got a question for you guys. You see, obviously he's gonna have an idea in his head maybe of the players who he feels should be playing in certain positions.
Mm-hmm.
Would you respect him if he starts changing? Maybe he starts Rashford, for example. He started Rashford left of the four, just random left of the four, and he found it wasn't working. Would you be happy if he changed so that there was players kind of rotating to work out what position suits them best? Or would you want him to have his set? He's playing here, he's playing here, he's playing, because we've never been able to have a set team. Arsenal have got a set team if all of their players are fit. Do you want to see a set team, or do you want to see a sort of rotation until he finds his best starting 11?
Well, yeah, I'll quickly before you bath time. Yeah, like I said yesterday, I saw an interview with him. He said clearly this: when I was playing football, I played in every position apart from striker and goalkeeper, which means he has to be versatile and playing and adapt for different positions. Not only like they do this at Ajax, don't they? When you're growing up, you play in various positions so you can learn positions. And I was reading big up to Brice, by the way. He does some great content, amateur football. I was watching one of the coaches he was interviewing the other day talking about he had a right back, for example, and he was a very good right back, but he started playing him at left back, and he said, "Oh, I can't play there, can't do it." But he persisted with it, even though he was unhappy with it. Played him at left back, and now he's the best left back. He's learned how to use his left foot more, and apparently he's the best left back in the league. So now he can play left back and right back, and he's also started to play centre back as well. This is developing the player. This is making him a versatile player where he can fill in different positions. Now, it's right saying, being a master of one thing, but a jack of all trades, a bit like the Phil Neville thing. I don't think that's where I'm going with that. What I'm basically saying is Amorim played in several positions. He thinks it's beneficial for him and the team, for his understanding. Obviously, he's gone on to be a manager. He's learned more. And I think it's great for players to understand what it takes to play in different positions. That's why sometimes you get good centre-backs playing up front because they know what it's like to play against the striker, so they know the movements and that kind of thing. It's just good for wisdom, for understanding, to learn different positions. Now, the thing with Rashford, he said it looks like he might be playing as the striker in the system, but if he starts on the left, and sometimes he might have to fill on the left, for example, it's a good thing maybe you work on that, I believe, just to get him used to things. So we're not restricted in that respect.
I interpreted what he said a bit different to you, Yabba, where I think way I took it was when he said that he played basically everywhere except goalkeeper and striker, was that he did it for the collective, that you have to sacrifice yourself for the team. Not about being able to play in different positions. It's more about being able to help the team. That's that. So maybe we got a slight difference there, but
no difference.
Is that the point you were making?
No, there's no difference. I mean, that is a beneficial. I was just adding to that, branching out by saying it also helps with your development as a player. To give an example. Yeah.
All right, wicked. For me, so Mr. B, your claim was, would we be unhappy if we saw a kind of chopping and changing of people's positions, but with a set structure?
Yeah.
I've no issue with that at all. The thing is that we've got Amorim in. He's a bit similar to Ten Hag in the fact that he's one of the most exciting coaches in Europe at the moment, which you can't forget Ten Hag was at the time as well. And this is kind of what you pay them the money to do, that they have a way that they want to play that is very unlikely to change. It's all down on paper. They've got their game model, and that'll be the game model for the rest of the season.
Game model's back.
Oh, for God's sake, Yappa.
Sorry. It's always going to get me.
I let it go earlier.
I know, but I haven't heard it for a while, and you to drop that again.
Yeah, but earlier on you said, all of us get up and we have to go to work, and we don't want to, and the players do. What did you do today?
Well, I'm off on a sickie, aren't I? So I had a day of leisure.
DJ'd all day.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. I went walkies and then I've DJ'd.
Lovely. But yeah, I think so. The thing is, right, is that we want a manager to solve these problems, like Mr. B. And the thing is that because there's this sort of less attacking positions now, as we traditionally see them as wide forwards, wingers. There's inside forwards and there's wing backs and stuff, and we might find ourselves with an Azpilicueta from Chelsea who's able to perform pretty well out wide for no, it's not obvious why he would be, but it turned out to be very good out there. And I think that with what we're already seeing that with Anthony as a sort of right wing back and stuff like that, maybe we sort of have this idea that I can't believe I'm making an ontological argument, but maybe we have the idea that players are just one thing and they can't change. Right, so that this is, people have lots of difficulties with inverted wingers now because that's not what they feel a winger is. And maybe we'll see Rashford or Garnacho turning into brilliant inside forwards or number 10s or whatever. But I'm up for seeing whatever Amorim can do because it can't get much worse. And I think a new system for this is such a wild departure from anything we've had. Fergie was an evolution. Eric Ten Hag, like the 4-3-3 isn't too different from a 4-2-3-1. This is all proper new. So I'm really excited to see what happens.
Before we go any further, the big boss is strolled in. I hope you're well. I hope you're not too cold. We had a conversation earlier on, and he was so cold. He was freezing. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, Solo. There's a couple of questions for you guys here. Let's have a look on here. We deserve better. There's gone the lineup I'd like to see is Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Dalot, Ugarte, Casemiro, Garnacho, Bruno, Xerxes, and Rashford. How much different from that would you I know it was one that was thrown up really, really quickly. How much different from this starting lineup would you go bath time? And I'll give that to you as well afterwards, Yaba.
Obviously, I don't like moving Garnacho further away from goal. Xerxes might be able to play a number 10, but he was bought to be he was bought to play with his back to goal instead of receiving the ball facing the goal. So I'd probably take Xerxes out, swap him with Garnacho, put Mazraoui in the wing back, and then get Yoro in.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just want to say respect to We Deserve Better. I mean, we all sort of racking our brains, aren't we, to find out what the team's going to be. We don't know until an hour before the game. But yeah, from what I've seen in training, could be Luke Shaw as a centre back, and you put a fullback in centre back as well. Once again, fullbacks playing at centre backs, or fullbacks playing as wing backs, wingers, traditional wingers or inverted wingers, suddenly playing as wing backs. You see where we're going with this? You've got Xerxes, a striker, playing as a 10. You know, there's a bit of a variation here with positions, and that's why I think players have to be flexible in this position.
We've got a stalker in the house. Big up Football Power Hour.
Yes.
I hope you're doing well. I hope the African continent there is keeping that nice shiny bald head of yours totally tanned up.
He lives in America. We've been through this before.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? I don't care. I will always say this in Africa. Maybe that's my ignorance. Papi, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I will always say that you're my little African buddy and you live in Africa.
He's an African American.
Yeah, there you go. See, there you go.
He's an alien in New York, an African in New York, wherever he's from.
Stephanie, Amorim's preferred formation is 3-4-3, I think. But does he ever switch to 3-5-2?
No idea.
I've got no idea either. I haven't seen that.
Guys in the chat, if you could answer her, it might help her brain there. Simon Warner's he's going to go for a cheeky 4-0 win, whoever Amorim puts in.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Bloody hell. Kieran has gone, I love the system the manager plays. It's attacking if the players can adapt. Simon Warner totally agrees with your formation there. We deserve better. I nearly forgot who said it. Andrew, being too rigid in a formation is a bigger mistake. You need to have your style. I think you really need to have your style, to be fair.
I think it depends where you are in the process, as it were. Like the first couple of games, I would actually think that will be one of the big things that he's trying to get them to do, which is get into the shape that he wants, certainly in attacking situations. And the more they sort of learn, develop, bit of chemistry, like it becomes second nature, that's where you can get a bit more fluidity going. Because you've got to first you've got to learn your position and what your role is. And then you begin to sort of understand what other people's roles are and how you can swap and disrupt blocks, doing stuff like that. So I would think that we're going to see it very structured for the first 2 or 3 games.
What in regards to in regards to players playing in positions or the system? I would assume actually playing.
Yeah, the
players
system,
playing
the system. Like, so I think that, like, basically it will be a bit of a game of chess at the start where, like, you know, Anthony can only move on diagonals or something. And I wish Amrabat was here so I could make a joke about the horsey. But I think it will sort of be like that. But this is for the start. I think that because basically the more you develop in the game model, the more you understand it as players, the more complex it becomes. So at the start, it's going to be as simple as possible, and simplicity comes from structure and people being in the right places. So I think that it's going to be pretty rigid at the start. But maybe Jose, for example, he was big into all of this. He didn't train his attackers to do anything. He said it was up to them to do it themselves, that they had to live off kind of vibes, as it were, or it'd be too predictable. So who knows?
Just to add as well, I think, look, I mean, there's been question marks about this formation. You know, does it work? How many championship winning teams have played sort of three at the back or something different to the conventional 4-3-3 or whatever we've seen in recent years? There's not many. I think it's only Chelsea maybe played three at the back. But what we've seen, this is the new in thing. We've seen what Xabi Alonso's done at Leverkusen. They were sort of, you have to remember, they were sort of almost a relegation point when he turned up there. And he turned them around. It had been nothing but on the up ever since. And if you don't have anything to go by, this is so for one, the players have picked it up straight away. Because I think it allows you. We just had this discussion before, Mr. B and Bar Time, about I played centre back, but playing three at the back and having wing backs there and players to pass to. You can always sort of pass. There's always a passing lane. You can get more comfortable in the ball, more control, I think, and then you've got that backup as well. And if you're in tune with one another, it gives you more patience and time and dictation of the play from the back. So you need to have good players on the ball, centre back, you know, in these three positions. So I think it's, from what I've seen from Leverkusen, what I've seen in Sporting, the way players have fitted in and excelled, so good. It's been a lot. No one's countered this just yet. They even beat up Pep's team the other day by doing it, even though they don't dominate the play. So it's something exciting, and we're getting a taste of it early on. Obviously, in a couple of years, people will find a way to counter it, and so they say, well, where do you go from there? You know, but at the moment, it's the in thing, and we're about to experience it. So let's see how long it takes for the players to adapt.
Yeah, but where are Leverkusen this season? Have they fallen off, or are they still?
I'm not sure. You know, I actually don't know.
I think they're fourth.
Have they lost?
Yeah, they have lost. They have lost. Yeah, they have lost.
Wow.
Yeah, that season was a freak season. I think, you know, you hit a certain stage of the season where you don't think you're going to lose. You know what I mean? And you go out there, you know, doing training. Yeah, Leicester in the league. You know, they had that momentum, and I think it got broken up. I mean, the fact they didn't sell too much players, but it was never ever going to be the same as it was. You know what I mean?
I just think that Bayern were there for the taking, because I'm pretty sure the season before they won the league.
Yeah, because Dortmund messed up, innit?
Yeah, like I think Bayern were there for the taking, and like Bart, I think Bart might be German. We don't really know, but my understanding is that Leverkusen are not actually particularly good this season, and I do wonder if they might have been a bit of a Leicester, where like just everything aligned and stuff, and they just got through it.
Well, to add to that, I mean, teams adapt, don't they, to something that's good. So maybe in Germany they've had to adapt. Say, right, Leverkusen shocked us, they surprised us. Now this is how we deal with it.
I thought what was interesting, but was you bringing up like Leverkusen and Sporting. Like these are the two kind of sexy teams in Europe, and they're disrupting the traditional teams. And I think it's interesting that they're both doing it with the same formation. Like this could be a kind of new meta evolving, that the way you beat teams like City and so on is with this formation. And the thing that worries me a little bit about it is that, as Bart says, I think Leverkusen aren't very good this year. And I wonder if you're right. I wonder if these big brains like Pep and, well, I mean, Company's got a massive head. I don't know if he's brain.
See, so it's like Andrew was saying. Is there
His poor mother.
Oh Lord!
Oh Jesus Christ! Andrew saying, is there a plan B? Andrew, we're hoping that we're hoping that we won't need a plan B.
There won't be a plan B.
Oh no! I hope there's not. I hope there's not.
The plan B, I think the plan B, whereas Leverkusen have dropped off and German clubs have maybe learned how to adapt, our plan B would be with Man United. We can get better players in, maybe, rather than to tweak things, just have better players like Pep does to, step it up.
Pappy.
I tell you, he's sitting down there gassed and let us play the game first, please. Please.
I watched him the other day, and it was him and this gaggle of like AI generated people all going absolutely crazy that Pogba was coming back to the club.
Oh,
we were going on a title charge and stuff like this, and it's just, let's see how we get on. City might get a lot of points deducted. Chelsea might get the same. It's possible we could get into top 4. But yes, it's far too early before we've seen them kick a ball under Amorim.
Jesus Christ. This is like our pre-season predictions, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like we're doing the treble.
Yeah, we are. We'll take that. We're still in. Yeah. We're still involved in all of them. So, yeah, well, the minor treble. But, yeah, Tyrone.
Big up Tyrone.
He appreciates the shout out yesterday, and he does love a good pass, he said there.
Tyrone with that hot knife. He's got that hot knife with through butter pass. So you got to see. I don't know if you mind, Tyrone. I'm gonna share it with the boys. Where did you send it to me again? Was it on WhatsApp? If you did, send it again, please. I want to show it to the boys.
Yeah, and how did you get on, Tyrone? Like, your scores are always incredible.
Let's have a look. Well, so Wales have won 4-1. So they've topped their group. Is there any United players for? Oh Jesus!
Oh, this the under 17 lad like Biancheri or whatever who he got a hat trick for the Welsh under 19s, maybe under 21s.
That's the young boy that's causing a little bit of chaos for us, isn't it?
Yeah, like be interesting to see if maybe he can overtake Cheeto in getting a start. And I'd love to see Ethan Wheatley involved at some point. I was impressed with him last year.
Well, you were impressed with
Amari Forster.
Yeah, and Forster. And they sold him as well. So I'm beginning to think these players that you impressed with half time.
I love academy players. Like I think it's just so special and so important to
I get it, but they need to be good enough.
Wheatley looks good. Wheatley looked fine. Like Collier looked really good. I mean, I thought Maxio Deleyi or whatever, the Polish guy.
Yes, I thought he looked good, to be fair, but I think he left because he wanted to play. He wanted to play.
Oh yeah, he did look good. Yeah,
I did love. I mean, like Eriksen's leaving at the end of the season. Casemiro, Ryder season is coming up for him, I would imagine. Like, why couldn't we have Maxio Odinelli in the team? Why can't we see a bit more of Collier or maybe Fletcher or something? Because they're not going to perform as poorly as some of the dross that stuck out this season. And they're probably more available than Mason, I cut my head, I won't see you again for 6 weeks, Mount.
It's too late. It's too late for that, is it? Probably a buyback clause. I know Mr. B likes those sort of clauses in the contract. And obviously with the guy Fernandes who went to Benfica, there's always talk about getting the 16 million back to bring him back home. But where would he fit in? I mean, he looks he's developing really well in Benfica by getting game time. That's how you, for a young player, you've got to have the game time. And you see what's happened with Kobe Mainoo and Garnacho and Ahmad when they play, they improve. and there's a gap. There's a big gulf between youth football to senior football. But once you start playing and training with the senior team, it becomes easier. And then when you start playing games regular, it becomes second nature. And I think if you've got all that about you, you can do it. So I think these players need to be playing regular, because I'm sure, sometimes you see players train with the first team, looking good with the first team, and then suddenly they leave the club and they end up at a club maybe 3 or 4 divisions or stages lower, and they think, how did I get here? But when you're so close, do you know what I'm saying? It's a huge drop off. So we should keep a tab. We should keep tabs on some of these players that are left and see how they're developing. Like Zidane Iqbal, I haven't heard a whisper from him. Don't know what's happening with him. And I thought he was quality.
Doing well?
Where's he? Everton. He's hard. He gets games now and then. Dan James,
he's doing all right. I think Alanga is doing pretty well.
But I'm really referring to the players that are youth academy players, like Zidane Iqbal is a great example for me, who's dropped off, gone down a few levels at Scotland, playing in the Premier League in Holland. And I'm not seeing any reports. I don't know, but I want to see how he's getting on. Because how can you be playing and looking good enough to play for the Man United first team and then suddenly drop down a level? How does that affect you? Can he climb his way back? A bit like Angel Gomez, dropping down.
More like Luke Chadwick or Makeda, people like that. Maybe it's like the good players carry them a little bit. Like, you get perfect passes and stuff. It's the players that fight their way up the leagues that really intrigue me. Like, your Ian Wrights, your Jamie Vardys, your Chris Smallings. Like, you got to do more to go up than to sort of stay up. But I had a question. I wanted to ask Bart, if he's still here, if he can give us a Donny van der Beek update. I'd love to know, like, if he's playing football again.
He is playing. When he went there, apparently.
Girona?
Yeah, who was I talking to?
Is he not Frankfurt?
He's at Frankfurt.
No, that's
it Girona. No, it's the other way. Yeah, so he's at Girona, isn't he? Yeah, so there was a player who, I don't know, was playing in his position. He got injured, and Van der Beek has taken, and now he's the one who is starting. So I think he's enjoying his football. We might get whatever the change was, whether it was 50p or 60p. For 175 games, we might get
5 million, wasn't it?
Was that that much? Is that much we put it in? Yeah, we might get our money.
I think it was about 5 million.
50p.
Yeah, that's just typical United, isn't it? That's the typical United.
I thought I quite like it when we get I hate these players that hang around for ages that just sort of keep coming back. Like, I think it's good that we managed to send him on. We found him a good club. And Donny, I mean, what you can say about Donny is he never moaned and he never really caused a problem, did he?
No desire.
Exactly. Well, yeah. See, right. So if you moan, you've got too much desire, and if you don't moan, you've got no desire and you don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
unfortunately that's it.
Yeah, but Donny had this sort of position of he arrived at the club like a victim. Like, did you remember that letter that they sent us about, please look after him, he's a special boy? And
maybe they knew. Maybe they knew that he was going to go there and fail.
Yeah, but the thing is I think he could have put a lot of pressure on the club with an interview or like some comments or something, and he never did anything like that. And now he's gone. I wish him the best.
He was happy to be there. I think he was just happy to be at United. He didn't want to rock the boat, and maybe he hoped at some stage that he would have got in, but all 3 managers just bombed him out, man.
Yeah. Oh, Bart's got us an update.
What's it done? There we go. Donny's at Girona. He has featured 9 times, laid an assist, but hasn't set La Liga on fire, to be honest. Girona haven't done that too. Just let him take his money. Just keep playing there. You get your games up so we can get our money. I know you're gonna put V's comment up, but you guys in the chat, you can see it.
I can't see anything.
Oh, you can't. All right. Well, Just for you, Yabba, I'm going to put it up, yeah? Van der Beek caught me in bed with his wife and he didn't get angry. He just cried and asked why I'm still ashamed of myself.
That's a worse rework of the joke that I made about Donny van der Beek. When I said, if Donny van der Beek came in and found his best mate in bed with his wife, he'd go, do you know what? I get it. I understand. He's a lovely bloke. and then walk off. Like, oh, Donny, man, where did it all go wrong?
Oh, God. Double A, welcome. He's asking, what happened to Hugo? Isn't he on loan somewhere?
Joe Hugo, I don't know.
See,
I know he
these are the
scored a
ones
great
we hear
goal
the
against
names.
Rangers. Did you see he scored against Rangers, didn't he, in pre-season? A nice finish.
Was that not Ennis?
No, I thought it was Hugo. I thought it was
Okay.
Hugo, yeah. But I don't know where he is, to be honest. The system, isn't it? I mean, unfortunately for strikers, not like you have one guy playing and maybe one reserve guy on the bench. And you talk about the guys you mentioned, Wheatley, Hugo, and he's at Wigan. There you go. Thank you. And then we've got Obi as well. And then you mentioned someone earlier as well who's could be challenging for Obi's place.
Bian.
I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not familiar with him. Yeah, but Obi, apparently, I've read reports today that the guys, the Trinity, the Holy Trinity of Barada, Ashworth, and the former Blackburn winger, what's his name? Wilcox have recommended that they fast track Obi into the first team, or at least have a look at him.
Is this Cheeto?
Cheeto, yeah.
Yeah, Cheeto, the striker.
Do you think it's wrong that the club are not making suggestions, not putting pressure on Amorim, but with the suggestions that these players should be fast tracked into the first team? You think it puts pressure on him to get them into the team? Because if he's coming as a coach, he's still got to pick his own team. Granted, they're going to be picking the players and buying the players. He's going to have some input into that. But
it's just, to me, it's just like a handover, isn't it? You got to hand over whenever you change shift or whatever, you come in, do a handover. Here's what's going on. That's what's going on in the youth academy. You should have a look at that guy and, forget the others or whatever. Have a look at Obi. He looks like a star. That is someone you could have a look at. And maybe if you can develop him, like Bartram was saying the other day about developing players and bringing them through, he'd be a good one, So maybe that's down to Amorim now. They give him the respect to say, okay, it's down to you. You have a look at him and see what you can do with this guy because he's quite hot.
Yeah, I think to go back to Jose again. Jose apparently every season would go to the youth academy and say, "Give me your best player," or "Who's the best player?" And obviously, it was McTominay in his first season, and he wanted Greenwood in the second season, but they felt Greenwood was too young to go out because he would have been 15 or something. But I think I agree with you, Mr. B, that this is a bit of kind of dumping a young player on a manager and going, here you go, we want this guy to be a success. Like we saw that happen with Harry Amass, Wilcox pushing for him at the end of last season. I think the sensible way of doing it is that the youth academy chats with Amorim about what the players need to improve on, like their character, what they're good at, what they're not so good at, how they can fit into the team and so on, and what the plan is for their development. Because some players like Kobe don't need loans. Like Garnacho, they don't need a loan. They're at a level where they can go in, but they need to be handled because they don't have experience, but their talent is evident. With Cheeto, Kone, and maybe Yoro kind of comes into this. Like you kind of think that because we've invested heavily in those players, like make no mistake, they're that's the equivalent of a 50 or 60 million pound player that we've signed at that level, the money that's gone in. I think that they want us to get them in the squad as soon as possible. And so I just think it's important there's clear lines of communication and that there's clear lines of responsibility, because Amorim's working on a new system at the moment, installing principles, looking at things he's got, and it's a great opportunity for like that monster centre back at 6'5", and he's like 9 or something. It's like great opportunity for these guys. They can come in and they can make a name for themselves, starting out in the squad and then maybe getting some minutes here and there. But at the same time, you've kind of got to like just make sure that there's a plan for our players. Because as much as I love our academy players, I am not interested in what Joe Hugel is doing or something like that. Because until they're ready for the first team, I just leave them alone and let them develop. And I don't want them getting hyped up. And I worry that Chido is already like wildly hyped up because he moved from Arsenal and people like that kind of thing.
He doesn't.
I think. Did you hear we signed Far Too Young? Korean striker.
Yeah. Okay. This is why they want to nuke us, Amonde. It's jokes like that.
Okay.
Oh Lord. We got a couple of people talking about 16-year-olds being too young, and then
Far too young.
come in with with Whiteside was 16.
Yeah, he was a beast. He's built like Rooney, wasn't he, back then?
Okay. What else we got to talk? Is there anything else that we have to waffle on about?
Well, I mean, we saw today that more and more stories are coming out that we've wasted so much money that there's going to be no money like to kind of rebuild this squad. And the working expectation is that we've got a very, very good squad with good players in it, and that Amorim's remit is he's got to find the best solution. And maybe we get in an Alphonso Davies, or like you would think there'd be a kind of not a superstar signing, but there'd be a signing that is symbolic of Amorim, which you sort of think that's Gyökeres, wouldn't you? Or like something like a player that's his. But I think from
what you're saying, his from Sporting, or his as in the player that he wants to be his first signing coming into the club.
Yeah, more like a combination of both. I think it's like, so for Ten Hag, it turned out to be Anthony, but it should have been De Jong. Like De Jong would have been the signing that really represented what Ten Hag was about and stuff. And I think that like we've got to give Amorim in the summer a signing that kind of says what he's about. And at the moment, smart money would be Gyökeres. Or maybe like Quenda, possibly, but a signing that fits him, fits the system and the new direction we're going. But we don't.
My thing. Sorry. My thing with everybody's talking about Gyökeres. They talk about playing Rashford as the 9, and obviously we've already got Højlund. If those two can miraculously in Højlund's case, start hitting the back of the net, then surely Gyökeres won't be, or shouldn't be somebody that we should be interested in. Surely, no?
I kind of disagree, because I think like I don't want to get too bogged down in statistics, but goals have been lacking for so long. Yeah,
but isn't that the whole point of getting the coach that we've got? Because we're assuming that he's going to get better out of the players that we've got.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, is as much as we all love tactics and training, at the end of the day, it's the best players that win you the league, and it always has been. You get the best players in, and you got the best shot of winning the league. Am I wrong there, Yabba?
Yeah. Bartho. Maybe not. But you have said in the past, systems win games,
systems win matches, players win leagues.
Yeah, but I think it's a balance of the two systems as well.
Yeah, of course.
I tend to. So, Mr. B asked a question. I don't think we need him. Just because I'm still not convinced. I'm looking at like what that role.
But what you're talking about? Gyökeres' numbers.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. That doesn't sell it for me.
Do you not like
I
the
just
idea
think,
of a symbol, though?
yeah, I understand. Yeah, totally agree with you about a signing that represents what he's got. I'm sure he's got like a real good understanding of young Portuguese players and who's on the market. Someone we don't even know about yet that he could go in for, which would be like a revelation for signing. Say, wow, where did this guy come from? You know, I'm sure there's loads of players in the Portuguese league or the youth set up that he knows about, that he'd be aware of. You know, so to say that we could definitely get him, I think it's too obvious. For me, if I'm a coach and knowing that we're not going to sign anyone in January, I think what we could do is work on getting Rashford and Haaland playing and performing. And I think it suits them because it seems to me, I'm not an expert yet, I haven't seen enough, but it seems to me that this guy, when I've seen Sporting play, that striker doesn't have to come back and hold up the ball. So Haaland is laughing and Rashford's laughing. And usually they're the one who has to work going forward, get balls played into space, they can run onto, that kind of thing. It seems to me, maybe I'm wrong, and that suits Rashford and that suits Haaland.
Does it though?
So,
because
I think it does. Well, that's just my observation now. I could be wrong. Yeah.
When you see Gyökeres play, he is banging up in the channels, like shoulder to shoulder, pace, physicality. Rashford, like, I don't know if he's not fit or if he's carrying an injury, but if you go and watch games, in the first 5 minutes, Rashford tries to like do the right back, and they've all eaten him, like Robertson at Fulham, Robinson, and things like that. Like Rashford hasn't really played in wide areas very well for a long time. He's always, if you think about the goal against Arsenal, for example, or against Manchester City, he's much more inside, and I think that Rashford doesn't have the frame or the bulk to do that kind of job. And Haaland, I mean, he's a lovely boy, but I mean, he can't hold anything up. It's not like we've got Atlas out here.
I don't think I don't think that's their role. That's what I'm saying. I think it suits them, from what I've seen from Sporting and that they don't really have to get involved in all that kind of thing. The number 10s will deal with that and just send man in, free him up into space, which Rashford and Haaland seem to like,
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Right. Yeah, but okay. What the position that I see that Gyökeres plays is very, very similar to Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa. Furthest forward, but out in a wide area, and has to use physicality above all to relieve pressure on the team.
Physicality how? Like, because I'm thinking if you're running and you get there first,
yeah,
you got a march on the players and they got the pace to do that. The physicality doesn't necessarily mean, what do you mean physicality? Like holding up the ball? Because I don't think that's part of it. Pace. Oh, right.
Strength. Pace, strength, and competing. Like, you don't need, like, Bernardo Silva is a better player than all of those guys that we mentioned, but he'd be dreadful out in that position because you need a lot of physicality. Mr. B.
Thank you. I was silently sitting here. Thank you, Grace. Deeply appreciated. I did see your comment about the 20 goals, but I'm going to do this one, and I've got an answer for you for your 20 goal one as well. So I have a Rashford agenda. Can we give him to Salford for free? Bloody sick of him. They probably couldn't afford these wages, Grace. So as much as we could give him away for free, Salford probably wouldn't take him. Yeah, they probably wouldn't take it. Oh, Tyrone's agreeing with you. You've got his juices flowing now. But I did see something about scoring 20 goals, Grace, in Portugal. I don't know where it's gone now, but I'll try and get it back up. I'll try and find it in a minute. What we did have, Grace, we suggested yesterday, as you weren't here, as you can score 20 goals in Portugal, we would assume that you'd be able to do 100 kick-ups. No problem. We don't need to see your face, but we do need to know that it's you. Andrew's already kindly volunteered to post a video for the weekend. I will be doing one. Obviously, Yabba can't because he's hurt his finger and it's thrown him off balance and he no longer plays outfield. And we'll wait and see if Bath Time throws something up. So great,
I can do.
I know you can, Bath Time. I'm on a big wind up. So, Grace, yes, I'm going to stick this one up again because I think it does deserve it. I have a Rashford agenda. Can we give him to Salford for free? I'm bloody sick of him.
Wow.
I would say just wait on Rashford. Like, just give him a couple of games, because I know he's a player that we feel has let us down. Like, certainly me personally, I was deeply insulted by his performance against Villarreal.
I know,
and I've never got over it.
That's gonna go to your grave. that is the one. Honestly, that is Bath Times bugbear. That's the one.
It's the worst performance I've seen from a Manchester United player ever in a final. It was disgraceful and disgusting, and I could never get past it. He saved all them kids. He was the great hope. He was the shining hope of the football club, and then he went out and played like Danny DeVito, like just without the aggression. It was disgraceful.
Without the aggression.
Yeah, I bet you Danny DeVito has got a bit of the Ugarte to him.
She's got to riposte. Grace is saying again, don't worry, Gary Neville will pay his wages. Listen, let's get him. Let's look. Everybody has an opinion. I see it there. I some people like hot chocolate. Some people prefer Ovaltine. I think it's just what it is, isn't it? Look, there are some players I don't say I hate players at United. There's some players I do dislike.
Who's dislike?
He's already left.
Oh, McTominay. Okay, apart from McTominay, who do you dislike?
From the current squad?
From whenever. Like, is McTominay your most hated?
He was the one who pissed me off the most, just because I didn't understand what the fuss was about. Like, central midfielders, I think that was an opinion thing anyway. It's just how I want my central midfielders to play and what I expect them to do.
Ontological argument. Yes.
I have no idea what that first word you said. I got the argument bit. I have no idea what that first word you said was.
Ontological.
Right. I don't know what that means, mate.
It basically means that something is only one way. So it's like it's a metaphysical argument about. It's good to have. It's how you see reality. So your reality is that a central midfielder is this. And football has probably moved on from that. It's like most people think a winger should be beating men on the outside, crossing from the byline. That is their ontological view of a winger.
Right. Okay.
And now it's changed. So with McTominay, you're used to Scholes, Keane, even Veron. Like, those are your midfielders.
I wouldn't. I'll be honest. It is Bath time. Me as a coach, I wouldn't pick a midfielder like Scott McTominay to play for my team.
Really?
Yeah, just because he can't control the football. All right, obviously he'll be doing it better than I'm talking about at my level. Scale it down a bit. Yeah, I don't pick players like him. I don't pick them because they can't keep holding the football. I just don't see any position where I would have played Scott McTominay in my football team. And that's just a personal.
What we want to know is your most disliked players apart from Scott McTominay. So I'll give you one that I could, like Rashford, I could never get behind, but Alan Smith was a really difficult one for me. Michael Owen, yeah,
I didn't like Michael Owen. I could say I didn't like Michael Owen. I just didn't understand that, and the fact that he came in here and he knew and then when you hear the interviews, he knew he was injured when he came to us. He knew he wasn't going to be able to perform at the level, and he still. I understand, you take. I just, he's one that I hate. Yeah, I would one. Yeah. I don't like him. I don't like him.
I dislike De Gea. I dislike Martinez, and I dislike Anthony. Like Martinez is just a horrible.
De Gea.
Yeah, I never liked De Gea. I just felt that he had courage everywhere except in his own box. Like, he'd come and talk the talk and he'd say all the right things. And I just felt it was really performative. And he's just someone that I felt always was there to kind of let us down. I never really like got on board with him. I also had issues with Evra because I felt he was too frivolous.
I like Grace has said that the nice thing to tell Marcus thanks for the free meal. No, I liked Evra. I liked Evra's attitude. I liked Evra. His personality. I liked him.
Pogba was another one I could never get behind. Jesse Lingard. I just like players that I think are sort of committed and honourable on the pitch. And so with someone like Martinez, there's just too much sly, nasty stuff from him that I don't like. Whereas someone like Roy Keane, it was face to face, all of his aggression, well, the majority of it. But with someone like Martinez, I don't think he's a Manchester United player with just how sly he kind of is, with like horrible little fouls and things. Like,
yeah, but
that's awful what you need. Play against them.
That's what, yeah, exactly. You want players who players don't want to play against. He's a little rat. He's a rat, always at your ankles, always.
No, but it's not. It's different. It's like there's an intent there that I don't like. So Vidic would have been an absolute nightmare to play against. It'd be like having a wardrobe chucked at you every 2 minutes. Like, but it was all. It felt honest and it felt it represented Manchester United values. Whereas Martinez, but you can disagree with me on this one.
No, it's really interesting hearing all this. I mean, at least you can just justify it. Everyone's got their own personal reasons why they dislike certain players. And I'm not saying we hate them, but there's a few players I can think of when they've been playing for Man United. I thought, no, you're not good enough, in my opinion. That's it. That's how I feel about it. Brian McClair, when he first came, he was our top goal scorer, smashed it. But then after that, he dropped off to sort of midfield role. I just didn't think he was good enough. Later on, I think he was getting a free pass because he's Scottish. I don't know, but I just felt that he was, especially in some big European games, I just didn't think he was up for it, But he's a quality player. He was a quality player when he was younger. And then you got players that really, I was just felt, nah. When I saw the lineup, this guy surely can't get the team. David May, Henningberg, I didn't see the value in them. I didn't think they were that good to play enough for Man United.
They had their part in the squad, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. But I remember big Champions League nights, and I'm seeing Juve's team and Inter's team, all these great teams we're up against, and I see Henningberg. I think what done for me is when Redondo done that.
Oh, he did that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't remember much in football, but you know what? Up until this day. When he chopped Henningberg, oh my God, Henningberg is still looking for him now, All those years later, he killed him. He killed him.
Yeah, but that showed. I mean, it wasn't just that, but I just feel that he wasn't up to level. I always thought, we're not going to win the Champions League with players like that. We need better players. That was always in my mind. David May, Henningberg, it wasn't for me.
You reminded me of John O'Shea, who I loved as a player. But do you remember when he did Maldini? I think in his pre-season debut, first time he played for the club, nutmeg Maldini within the first 2 minutes. He always had a bit of star quality, O'Shea. I really enjoyed that goal against Arsenal. The little chipper. I wish we had players with that. I don't know, that stardust again.
They'll come, but don't worry, we've got the manager. And now he's going to be sprinkling that. Don't worry, bath time. I
worry about us up front. I worry about those three forwards, Rashford, Xerxes, and Højlund.
He has to work something, because if he doesn't, he's going to be in a whole load of trouble. He needs to work on something. Bilal's asking if you liked Rojo bath time.
I did actually quite like Rojo. Yeah.
The difference between him and Leacher?
There was nothing hidden about his aggression. Like Leach, even this season, where he went in 2-footed. Do you remember when he did that weird jump and went in 2-footed and stuff? I just think that there's a standard for a United player, and I mean, obviously, players like Rooney and Roy Keane went over that many times. But the majority of what they did, I felt, was in your face, and it wasn't hidden.
It wasn't sly.
Yeah, and I don't like our players being like that. I find it embarrassing, to be honest, when I see stuff like that. I hate it. But this is what I was going to ask you, Mr. P. Is right? So I reckon that our three forwards are an issue. I I don't think it's going to be an issue for Amorim, because if Rasmus misses all the chances that he missed last year, and I mean, he had some howlers last year, and if Rashford misses lots of chances and Xerxes misses lots of chances,
we're going to buy somebody.
Well, yeah, but it's also never really on the manager, is it? He can't come in there and teach them.
No, I understand, but if you've got a manager who wants you to run up and down like a track and field athlete, and then expect you still to be able to have the composure to score at the end, you're done.
Yeah,
there must be positions where your attacking players do not have to go to. Do you understand? I'm like, all right,
yeah.
You know, you have a formation where you have your forward out wide right. You leave him isolated. You've built the team around that, so you expect him when he gets that job. His job is to blah 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 blah, blah cut it, boom, score. That's his job. But I don't expect him to have to be running back. I just think if the positions are simplified, you know, you're a striker, strike. That's your job. You know,
I think you're talking about the running, because under Ten Hag, the distances were nonsensical. And you can look at, like, for example, Man City are not a particularly youthful team, are they? They've got a lot of old players in that team, like Bernardo Silva's, Kevin De Bruyne's, Rodri's no spring chicken, like Gundogan being brought in. But they play very, very differently, where they don't play counter attacks. When they win the ball back, it goes back to Ederson and they get up the pitch. And the other thing is that they're really good at fouling people, like for transitions and stuff. So I think that what concerns me, right, is that this is what I think is going to happen, is we're going to play well for the rest of the season. We're going to lose some games off silly individual errors because of the new system. Like, someone won't put enough weight on a back pass or something, or people be out of position. And I can take all of those things, because it's a new system. Like, you have to give grace when you're trying new things. But what I worry about is that one of the strikers is going to perform well, but it's going to be the only one that kind of steps up to the system.
Okay.
And we've got, like, no real backup for them. And if it were, for example, Rashford, we know Rashford can't hold up for a whole season physically. We know Højlund can't hold up for a full season physically. And it looks like Xerxes can't hold up for a half physically. So,
leave him, man. Give the guy a break. He's been with. Just give him a break, please. I just don't get it, man. I understand he hasn't been terrible.
I have to say, I think he's one of the. I think in terms of strikers we've got in, he appears to be the one that, like, people have disliked the most for a long time. Like, it took Martial obviously had a great start, so people were all right with him. But, like, Stuart Marshall coming in after 2 or 3 games,
he's had enough.
Yeah, and a lot of people really don't like Xerxes, because he just doesn't. Maybe it's another ontological argument, Mr. B, because they don't understand the new role of the striker.
I'm all into these ontological.
Wow.
Yeah. I've got
Xerxes, guys, Xerxes, don't write him off just yet. Give the guy opportunity. And let's see what he's got. He's got something about him. Let's see. Let's see what's your
Of course,
space.
you're not going to write him off. You were claiming that Anthony was going to be the Ballon d'Or last night.
Yeah, and Xerxes was the new Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho, Batista.
Yeah.
Freeway, player. Sure. Yeah, look, the talent's there. I mean, these guys, Anthony and Xerxes, both talented guys. They can do something. Let's see. I think before we write them off, surely they can contribute something this season, you know? So we can't disrespect them. And it's just that we haven't seen it yet. Anthony's been there a long time, hasn't really done the business. We've written him off. You know, we've dashed you two definitely, as we witnessed in the show last night. We feel disheartened with him. But Xerxes just come in the club, and I think now my only question mark would be, wow, where is he going to find a place in this team? But that's down to him, and surely it's up to him to really show some character, like all these other guys have to now. Show character, to show some willing to be part of this movement, because you want to be part of something successful, don't you? This is why Bartheim joined the Man United agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And absolutely tanked it. Lost some viewers, like, absolutely everything. Just dropped down, like opposite Sam Allardyce. Although, but one thing I will say about Xerxes is Xerxes came into the club unfit and unprepared. Not completely his own fault, because the Euros, man, killed us this summer. It absolutely killed. Like Pep, he didn't play anyone from the Euros in the first international break until the first international break. No Rodri, no Foden. Tried to give him as much time on, but obviously Rodri's out and Foden has maybe just about got back to form now. But the one thing that I will say about Xerxes is that he should be fit now, and he should be up to the level of the Premier League, or at least understand it. And I think that as much as we make fun about him, I've seen enough there to say that there's a hint of a player. Like in the same way that there was a hint of a player with Rasmus Højlund. And I think that Xerxes might be someone who surprises a few of us over the Christmas period, because he is going to play. There's so many games now. Like, he is definitely going to play. And if he's come back fit, trim, ready to go, we might actually see why he was such a highly valued player in Italy, and why Ineos and my mate Dan like spunked all this money on him. So I haven't written off Xerxes. It's just his performances, Yabba, are laughable when you compare them to the hype that you gave us about Ronaldinho, Batistuta, and who else was it? Usain Bolt or something.
It's about being positive, and that's what we have. And that's what we have been since he's coming. I don't think we've stopped smiling individually and collectively. Once you start talking about Man United to another Man United fan, we start smiling, whether it's what we expect, whether it's the fact that we've got rid of him. You know, would we have taken anybody? I think we've got the best that we could have got. And I think we're moving in the right direction, to be fair. We have been. Is
Amorim going up on the wall?
I'll have to wait. I will wait. I will wait. Yeah, it's too early. Kobe's up there for for a little while. But
Kobe scored the winner in the FA Cup final against City. He's up there. Yeah, he's earned that.
He's earned that. So yeah, let Amorim. He'll do something, and it'll be like, damn, I'm getting done. I am gonna buy a shirt now. I wasn't gonna buy this season shirts just because Ten Hag depressed me, but after you were saying about things that you remember about seasons, individuals. Amorim, I have to get the 2 shirts for the I'll put my order into the missus, and those should be on the way for Christmas, to be fair.
Nice one.
Are we going to see that? Are you doing a watch along this Saturday or this Sunday?
I've got to find out what time, my son. We're the 4:30 game, right?
I don't know.
It's definitely televised.
Please don't let it be 2 o'clock. If it's the 2 o'clock game.
Yeah, I can't do 2 o'clock either.
Please, somebody in the chat, save us having to Google this before we lack a notch this. What time is the United game on Sunday, please? Oh, God.
Come on.
Don't let me depress myself.
I hate the 2 o'clock kickoff. It's so annoying for like amateur footballers. It's 4:30.
Oh, superb. Bilal, you're a legend, mate. I think
live on Mr. B Sports.
Yeah, exactly. it might be free. It might be a 3-minute delay by the time it goes all the way around where it needs to go around. But yeah, we'll be live. Oh yes, there's gonna be a watch along on Sunday. Oh,
and a sing along.
Yeah, and listen, watch along, sing along. Yeah, I can't do that along, can I? Yeah, watch along and sing along we'll do. Yeah, watch along and sing along we'll do. But
post match will be a sing along.
After we'll do a
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. You talk about the game and all these are excited. Look, guys, anyway, we've been waffling long enough. We will be back tomorrow to discuss all things Man United. Yeah, it's like a notch, guys, isn't it?
It certainly is.
From me.
Like a notch from me. And like a notch from me.